welcome back to You Can't Make This Shit Up. I'm Kellen, that is David, and we're your political innovators in Central Florida, talking about Central Florida issues. It's a great day. What is it,
Indeed.
David?
Yes, indeed. And sunny, well, gray Central Florida. Hey,
Yeah.
we talked about this in the past. The autonomous driving SWAN vehicles in Creative Village here in Orlando, Florida. These vehicles were shuttle buses that would transport people in downtown Orlando. And we want to know what happened to the Swans and Creative Village because after an accident, which we kind of predicted would happen, um, they're gone, according to Scott Maxwell, the op-ed writer for the Orlando Sentinel, and in the spirit of resiliency and sustainability and all this, talk about saving our planet, another attempt to do such has failed. I wonder how much that costs the city of Orlando, and uh, we stated, or at least I think I stated, that in our past episode about this particular issue, that Creative Village is already a ghost town, despite all the money poured into it, and to have a shuttle bus to take you from nowhere to nowhere else was kind of weird. Kellen.
Yeah, I presume the Creative Village is being a testing ground because who the hell is going to get hurt if the self-driving vehicles if the self-driving vehicles go on the sidewalk, who's walking? What idiots walking on that sidewalk? That I think that's why it was there. I think they were testing the waters for something bigger, and they
Right,
know better than to do that now
right. Eh,
because it was
Go ahead.
ambitious. It was ambitious,
Yes, yes.
and it's ambitious to have shuttles because the problem with public transportation is sometimes infrastructure. Not every place has the best infrastructure because the ideal infrastructure is built in from the very start of the city planning. And cities like Orlando were not built as well as they could have been. So you
True.
want to work back. So now we're working backwards, trying to find a new way to for public transport. One way is to build train lines, but that those can only reach so much. And in theory, shuttles are the way to go. However, I've been on these Orlando roads before. I've been on 408 and I-4. I know that no AI can replicate driving that bad.
It's right. And aren't there free limo buses driving the same circuit downtown as the Swan buses? So, I mean, maybe perhaps, replace those buses, which I see often are empty or near empty, with these small shuttle buses that we saw in Creative Village or in Lake Nona, because I just don't see. I really just don't see the need for the big buses driving throughout downtown Orlando when they're not even half full. Maybe replace those with the small shuttles that run every 4 minutes or so, and kind of stimulate the downtown economy and with tourists. It's kind of cute to see these little buses. It's a little gimmick, but yeah, so much for the Swans.
Yeah. And something I didn't get to read the entire article because I'm not an Orlando Sentinel subscriber, and this was the only place where it was like really reported on. But when I got halfway through before it said "subscribe to continue, idiot," was something that interesting that Maxwell was putting forth was that it was hard to get information, which is
Yes.
very true. This is Florida, and now journalists are experiencing record blockades, something that our state was notoriously good about in the past. In the past, sure, if a naked Florida man drives an alligator into a Wendy's and throws it through the drive-through window, yeah, it's right here. It's please have at it.
And
But
that's go ahead.
now,
That's a larger issue. Go ahead.
and now it's like, Oh no, you can report everything except the governor's travel plans. You can't report on important things.
Right.
Just report out funny Florida man.
Right.
And funny Florida man is entertaining, but why is that more open than than the future of our transportation? An experiment that resulted in a crash and then all of a sudden disappeared. Why can't we know more about that? What is wrong with us knowing our governor's travel plans? We're his
Yeah.
boss. We're his boss. It's important to know if he's working in our best interest or not. Is he spending all his time traveling? Is he spending all his time vacationing? Or is he spending most of his time in Florida? It's important for us to know this. It's important for us to audit our
Right.
government. And now the government is now and keep in mind Orlando is one of the more blue areas in Florida.
Correct.
And now it's even pervading in Orlando. So it's both ends of the Florida government spectrum are it seems that there's a push for red tape, that they're too nervous to give people open access to their information, and it's disappointing to me.
In my time here in Florida, close to maybe a decade, it's been increasingly difficult in getting information from local government. And when you do get it, it's very late, very slow in receipt. And so the larger issue is, why is it that for someone like Scott Maxwell in the media having a difficult time getting access to government records when it shouldn't be that difficult? And
Mm.
I've experienced that myself with the city of Orlando in the past. So, what is the issue? I've experienced that, with the circuit clerk of courts here in Orange County. It just doesn't make sense in this day and age of digital information.
Yeah, and especially when Florida brags about how open and clean its record laws are. It's like, yeah, we have nothing to hide, except the government. The government has everything to hide you can possibly imagine. You know, I like we mentioned the creative villages earlier. Why were the swans in the creative village as opposed to somewhere that matters? Well, it's because they were probably only partially confident and they didn't want it to be a big story. I'm guaranteeing you the intention is to make this story as small as possible, from where they chose to do it to how they're handling their records. And I think that's the message that we see here.
I agree. With the amount of investment into a lot of these sustainability programs, into homelessness programs, and seeing very little value from those investments, seeing very little results, it kind of makes you question and want to investigate further what exactly is happening behind the scenes. So this whole SWAN issue may be a larger issue. The whole access to public government information is part of this larger issue. Who's going to
Yeah.
take it up?
Well, and that's the sad reality is when Ron DeSantis and company decided that they were going to amend the sunshine laws to no longer apply to certain activities of the governor. They got all the flack you can imagine for it. Saying that it was anti-democratic, saying that that they were restricting our ability to know important information, which they were. But the Democrats in Orange County, with the same breath, are running all this policy already, and one of the reasons I kind of bat more for the Florida Dems and the Republicans isn't because the Dems are necessarily better. I think that we need robust competition to have our government functioning properly. Otherwise we get worse bills because if you have to like compromise and actually reason with people, you can often make important concessions that way. If the Dems need to walk their walk, I think, because I saw nothing but an outpouring of vitriol and anger when Republicans amended the sunshine laws in their favor. But Democrats do the exact same thing. If you're gonna make this show, follow through on your end, but it's not happening.
It's unfortunate.
It is. I feel like this show is like should just be renamed to David and Kellen recommend things to the Florida Democrats. We
Almost
recommend.
every show is like that, right? At least from my point of view.
It's like, come on, Florida Dems, you got this. Get them, sport.
Hey, to our viewers and listeners, what do you recommend for us to discuss? Please
Ooh.
let us know. I love to hear what you think we should take up. I know someone mentioned to me several weeks ago while I was traveling that we should take up issues regarding male and female relationships. Someone else talked to me about having an episode about the history of the Israeli Hamas conflict. Tell us what you want us to discuss. We may not necessarily take it up. However, it's something that we would consider. So please comment, like, share our content. Please subscribe, spread the word. Spread the word. We want to grow our community. Thank you, John D. Maria, for being our producer. Thank you, Kellen, for co-hosting. I appreciate it. Any final words, Kellen?
Yeah, no, never accept less from your own party. If you're gonna talk a talk, walk the walk. Open records are extremely important. I think it's neat that they tried something new. I'm disappointed that their idea ended up being so bad, but hey, now we know, don't we?
Indeed.
And yeah, just like David said, we're trying to build our community. We love creating conversations, and we appreciate any points you have to give. With that, we are